Happy New Year and get ready for Wrestling Christmas. The start of January is where all the Japanese companies all over, well, Japan hold their biggest shows or their intentions, because I'm cultured. Now, if it were me, I would put the best shows towards the end of the year, but I've heard of putting your best foot forward, so that's probably why I don't book a wrestling company. Anyway, Tokyo Joshi will be holding its Tokyo Joshi 21 on the 4th of January, and it's a very exciting card indeed. So let's run down the card and go over the stories for each match. Firstly, there is the debut match of Arisa Endo versus Suzume. This is Arisa's debut match after being introduced at Wrestle Princess, and she is getting a push from being a trainee from Tier 1 and even getting endorsed by former champ Reika Saiki. She'll be taking on Suzume, which is a big deal for Suzume, as usually a more veteran wrestler would take the role of the opponent. So good for her with having enough trust to lead the match. Next, there is a tag match between Palm and Haruna Neko versus Mocha and Marika Kobayashi. Interesting, as Marika and Neko teamed at Wrestle Princess against Palm and Mihiro, but now she switches to the non-new girl Marika. Marika has been in Tokyo Joshi for a long time, but stepped away to focus on her education, and has come back with a new look and a new roster of wrestlers to face. But now the new wrestlers have more experience than Marika did and far less ring rust, so Marika is having to prove she hasn't lost it when it comes to wrestling her juniors. Mocha, on the other hand, has yet to get a pinfall victory, so she could get her first at January 4th. God damn it. This is a quick update. I just found out Marika Kobayashi tested positive for coronavirus. She's fine. She's not showing any symptoms, which is good, but she's not going to be able to make the January 4th show, so she has been subbed in with Yuna Manase instead. After that is a special tag match with the team of Raku, Mizuki, and Aja Kong versus Miyu, Nao, and Mirai. The big storyline here is to see if Aja Kong will do the Goodnight Express again, but no, it'll be the rematch of Mirai and Aja Kong. Last year, Mirai tried her hardest to get Aja off her feet, but was mostly unsuccessful. Now, with an extra year under her belt and going for 2 belts, Mirai is much less green and much more determined to get the better of this Joshi legend. It's also really odd seeing Mizuki and Miyu so low on the card, so I'll be interested to see how they do. Nao, on the other hand, has been booked really strong ever since her debut, not being pinned since her debut, so I can only wonder what TJP has for her. Then there is the special match of Hyper Misao versus Shoko Nakajima in what will now become an annual name change stipulation match. The loser of the match will have their name changed for a month. Shoko got the better of Misao last year after using many of her kaiju action figures to inflict damage on Misao, and then distracting a blackmailed Koda by destroying his tickets to an idol show, and then finding the contract in the pinata floating above the ring, as you do. But with Misao developing her new strength by morphing gimmicks every month in 2020, then becoming comfortable enough to use the Vanitesse once more, and finally ending the year getting married. Misao has a lot more momentum than Shoko at this time. I have no idea what gimmicks will be employed, but I am sure they will be reasonable and grounded. And if Misao wins, perhaps we'll see a more permanent tag team with Shoko and Misao. Next is a tag match of best friends Hikari Noa and Sayori Sena versus Neo Bishiki-gun. Yes, Bishiki-gun is back, and Saki-sama has a new teammate with Mai Saint Michelle. Mai was mesmerised by Saki-sama when Saki-sama was playing her flute in the woods, and Mai followed her home. And since then, Saki-sama has had Martha train her to be her new maid. Mei is a bit of a klutz though, but she has become a very formidable opponent with her silver platter. Saki-sama has wasted no time in picking a weak wrestler to bully. This time her victim has been Sena, who debuted at last year's big show. Sena has yet to get a pinfall victory in the company, but now she is teaming with her friend Hikari Noa, who helps Sena join Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. I doubt Bishiki-gun will be beaten this early in the arc. I'm guessing Bishiki-gun may win the tag titles late in the year, and then Sena and Hikari will become a more permanent tag and beat Bishiki-gun for the titles later on. So another Up Girls gets the belt. Up next is the Maki Ito vs Miyu Yamashita singles match. What I thought was going to become a stable tag team has evolved into a rivalry. At Wrestle Princess, Miyu and Ito faced off in a tag match, and after another tag match, Ito declared she would challenge Miyu in a singles match at January 4th, only to be told by Coda that a singles match had already been drawn randomly in December. That match ended up being a time limit draw, but with Ito on the advantage before the bell rung. In the final show of the year, Ito managed to pin Miyu with a new figure 4 jackknife pin, so Ito has all the momentum to beat Miyu, and not only right the wrong of her 2019 title opportunity, but also the first ever match she had in Tokyo Joshi.
Big face!
Second to last is the tag title match. It's the new champions, the Bakuratsu Sisters versus Tokyo University. The Bakuratsu Sisters have finally won the tag titles from the longest reigning tag team, Daydream. After going for the belts many times before, Nodoka and Yuki have progressed enough that their strength has reached their ambition. Tokyo University, on the other hand, wanted to go for the tag belts before and faced off in a number 1 contenders match against the Bakuratsu Sisters to see who would challenge for the belts. Unfortunately, Kamiyu injured her hand, leaving Kiryu, a team member down, needing to sub in Palm for what was an important match for her that she ended up losing. And of course, the Bakuratsu Sisters went on from that match to win the belt. Meanwhile, Kamiyu and Kiryu competed separately in the tournament to crown the next international champion, with Kiryu losing in the first round, but Kamiyu going on to win the tournament. Kiryu felt slightly vexed by Kamiyu leaving her behind, and how Kamiyu had been treating her, and so challenged for the international title. After the match, the two reconciled and are now hoping to get the belts they tried to get last year. I don't think Bakuratsu Sisters will lose so soon after getting them, but Kamiyu has been on a roll recently, and the series of matches the four have had leading up to the January 4th show have been really entertaining. Highlights include Yuki countering a Famouser into a Bakuratsu Bulldog, and the new tag team combo move from Tokyo University of a big boot into a spinebuster. So this is definitely one to watch. Finally, we have the main event of Yuka Sakazaki vs Rika Tatsumi. Yuka has had the unenviable task of holding the title during the worst time it has been to be a champion, and after a strong start to the year with a defense against Miyu, has not been able to defend the belt to its fullest. But towards the end of the year, had a fantastic match against Mizuki, and has added new flashier moves to her repertoire, so that when she can travel, it will blow the socks off all the people at AEW, for example. Rika, on the other hand, has also had a hard time also as champion. Both wrestlers won their belts during the same event of DDT Ultimate Party 2019, and have held them throughout 2020, and now Rika is no longer tag champ, seeks to elevate herself one more step. Rika has not gone for the Princess Championship after a losing effort to Miyu in 2018, and after lots of trials and tests, thinks she is mature and experienced enough to win the belt and take Tokyo Joshi to the next level. One more thing, Yuka and Rika used to be in the same musical group before they became pro wrestlers. They even performed on the show that introduced Tokyo Joshi to DDT. Unfortunately, there's no footage of them, so if anyone's managed to find something like that, let me know. I definitely think Rika is ready for the main championship. She is the most veteran in the company to not have held it, but I don't think Yuka has shown even half of what she is capable of as champion, so I would be happy either way with who wins the title. So that's the January 4th show, and it is definitely going to be a great start to the year, but there is one more special announcement for the show.
Hi, I'm Miu. This is the first time English commentary on Wrestle Universe at January 4th Korakuen Hall. Please watch. できた! できたよ!
That's right, not only the first English commentary for Tokyo Joshi, but the first on the entire Wrestle universe, which shows just how much the international audience for Tokyo Joshi has grown, and yes, I of course take all credit. The English commentary will be manned by Mark Pickering, who will be doing play-by-play, and Stuart Fulton doing colour commentary, with Chris Brooks also spotting in. I have never heard of the first two commentators, so I am a little reserved of how well of a job they will do. The English commentary for Brand New Wrestling was apparently legendary in its awfulness, so we'll see how good this will be. I think Chris will do a fantastic job. He's worked with many of the girls and understands the style of wrestling Tokyo Joshi presents to the world. But the sentiment of giving foreign fans the option is appreciated nonetheless, and hopefully this will lead to more support like subtitles for promos. Tokyo Joshi 21 will be streamed live on January 4th on Wrestle Universe. You can subscribe for 900 yen a month, with the first month being free, and the start of the month is the best time to subscribe. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the new year.